Good evening and welcome to the Akron Public School meeting held today, December 8th, 2025 at 5:28 p.m. The meeting has been convened. Mr. Bowers, roll call, please.
Mr. Alexander?
Present.
Ms. Autry?
Present.
Ms. Hall?
Present.
Reverend Harrison?
Present.
Dr. Jackson?
Present.
Dr. Molinar?
Present.
Mrs. Sykes?
Present.
7 present, 0 absent. We also have our student board member, Linnell Turner, with us tonight.
Present.
Yes, right, Linnell. Yes, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Now, for those who are able, we ask that you stand to be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by Member Hall.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Member Hall. Now I will defer for our recognitions, and we'll start with Vice President Alexander.
Thank you all. Thanks for everyone who's attending the meeting this evening. The proclamation I have is a 2025 proclamation of appreciation to Dr. Carla Jackson, President. It reads, whereas Dr. Jackson has demonstrated outstanding commitment and service to the Akron Public School Board of Education since her election in 2022. Her leadership has been instrumental in advancing the district's mission and equitable educational opportunities for all students. And whereas Dr. Jackson has held pivotal leadership positions, serving as board president in 2025 and vice president in 2024. Her strategic oversight as president of the Joint Board of Review in 2025 and previously as the vice president in 2024 and a member in 2022 highlights her dedication to collaborative governance and community partnership. And whereas her committee work reflects a deep dedication of academic excellence and fiscal responsibility, Dr. Jackson has served as chair of the Instructional Policy and Student Achievement Committee in 2024 and co-chair of the Legal, Contract, and Board Policy Committee in 2023. Additionally, she has contributed her expertise as a member of the Finance Committee and Capital Management in 2022 and Equity Committee in 2022, ensuring a holistic approach to district governance. And whereas Dr. Jackson has been a tirelessly advocate for community engagement, serving as a board liaison to multiple clusters and awards, including Kim Moore Garfield and Ward 7 and Ward 9, 2022, Bookto Cluster and Ward 3 and 4, 2023, 2024, and Firestone Cluster and Ward 8, 2024. In 2025, her liaison role expanded, including all awards of special needs schools, demonstrating her commitment to representing the entire Akron community. And whereas her involvement extends beyond the district through her active participation in Ohio School Board Association, OSBA, and National School Board Association, NSBA. She has served as OSBA alternate OSBA network liaison and on the CUBE committee in 2023 and 2024, advocating for urban education at the state and national levels. Her leadership also includes serving on an ad hoc Pee Wee sports committee in 2024, supporting extracurricular opportunities for youth. And whereas throughout her tenure, Dr. Jackson has consistently championing students' achievement, equity, and the community collaboration, working tirelessly to support every student in Akron Public Schools. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of Akron City School District, County of Summit, State of Ohio, Section 1, that Dr. Jackson is recognized for her outstanding leadership and service as president of the Akron Public Schools Education during 2025. Section 2, that sincere appreciation is extended to Dr. Carla Jackson by her colleagues. And Section 3, that a copy of this resolution be made as part of the permanent record of the Akron Public School Board of Education and a copy be presented to Dr. Carla Jackson. Dr. Jackson.
Bless God. Thank you, Mr. Alexander.
All right, thank you. Also, she will receive her gavel for outgoing president. And she has another award here, Akron Public Schools desk paperweight. So she will receive this also as outgoing member and president of Akron Public Schools. Thank you, Dr. Jackson.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yes, yes.
Again, thank you to the district and Mr. Alexander. Next, we will have further recognitions, and I'll move forward with those as I recognize our Vice President, Mr. Bruce Alexander. And I'll start by just taking a personal privilege to say it has been my honor, and I have deep gratitude towards you, Mr. Alexander, for your mentorship, for your care and concern in serving in the capacity as a mentor, as the longest serving board member that was here when I came. I thank you again for your support, wisdom, and guidance. And now everyone knows I'm famous for saying I am officially with the Noops now. So I do appreciate you and your kindness showed to me and the wisdom that you shared with me. Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Whereas Bruce Alexander has made significant contributions to the Akron Public Schools Board of Education since his initial election in 2010. His unwavering dedication to urban public education and his commitment to improving the lives of Akron scholars has been exemplary throughout his tenure. And whereas Mr. Alexander has served in numerous critical leadership roles, including board president in 2016 and vice president in 2014, 15, and 2025. His consistent leadership on the Legal, Contracts, and Board Policy Committee, serving as chair in multiple years, 2010, 2011, 2013, 14, 15, in 2017, 18, 19, 2021, 2022, and 2025, and co-chair in 2020. This demonstrates his deep commitment to sound governance and policy development. And whereas his service extends to a wide range of committees, including chairing the Community Relations and Customer Service Committee in 2012, and the Equity Committee in 2024, as well as serving on the Instructional Policy and Student Achievement Committee. His leadership as Vice President of the Joint Board of Review in 2014, 2015, and 2025 further highlights his dedication to collaborative oversight. And whereas Mr. Alexander has been a staunch advocate for community engagement, serving as board liaison to numerous clusters and wards throughout the district, including Bookdale, 2010 to 2015, North, 2017 through 2019, and currently in 2025, Ellet, 2024 to 2020, to 2024, East, 2021 to 2023, and the illustrious Garfield, 2024, ensuring that voices of diverse communities are heard and represented. And whereas his commitment to education extends beyond the district through his active involvement with the Ohio School Board Association and the National School Board Association, Board of Directors 2018-2019, he has served as OSBA Network Liaison and Council of Urban Board of Education CUBE Steering Committee member and past president 2012 through 2019. OSBA Trustee 2020 through 2025, OSBA Region President-elect 2023, and the NSBA Board of Directors 2018 through 2019, culminating in his receipt of this prestigious 2023 OSBA Service Award Star. And whereas throughout his tenure, Mr. Alexander has championed student voice, participating in the first meeting with student board members in 2019, and has consistently worked to promote equity and excellence within the district. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Akron City School District, County of Summit, and State of Ohio, Section 1, that Bruce Alexander is recognized for his outstanding leadership and service as a member of the Akron Board of Education. That sincerest appreciation is extended to Bruce Alexander by his colleagues, and that a copy of this resolution be made part of the permanent record of the Akron Board of Education, and that a copy be presented also to Mr. Alexander. Congratulations, Mr. Alexander. Absolutely, thank you. Next, as we continue with our recognitions, I will recognize Ms. Diana Autry for her service and advocacy for the Akron community. Whereas Diana Autry has made significant and lasting contributions to the Akron Public School Board of Education since her appointment in 2020 and subsequent election in 2022. Her unwavering dedication to urban public education and her commitment to improving the lives of Akron scholars has been exemplary. And Ms. Autry, whereas Ms. Autry, has served in pivotal leadership roles, including board president in 2024 and vice president in 2023. Her leadership as president of the Joint Board of Review in 2024 and previously as vice president in 2023 and member in 2020, 2021, and 2022, as well as 2025, highlights her dedication to collaborative governance and community partnership. And whereas her committee work reflects a deep commitment to fiscal responsibility and academic excellence, as chair of the Finance and Capital Management Committee 2022 through 2023, and co-chair in 2020 through 2021, she oversaw critical budgetary decisions. Her leadership on the Instructional Policy and Student Achievement Committee as chair in 2025, co-chair in 2022, and member in 2021 has helped shape the district's curriculum. Additionally, she served as co-chair of the Legal Contracts and Board Policy Committee in 2025 and the Ad Hoc Pee Wee Sports Committee in 2024. And whereas Ms. Autry has been a dedicated advocate for community engagement, serving as board liaison to numerous clusters and wards, including the East Cluster and Ward 10, 2020 to 2023, North Cluster and Wards 1, 2, and 5, 2021 through 2022, Firestone CLC in Ward 8 in 2025, and Bookdale CLC in Wards 3 and 4 in 2025. In 2024, her liaison role expanded to include specialty schools, further demonstrating her commitment to representing the entire Akron community. Whereas during her tenure as board president, she played a pivotal role in the passage of the levy in 2024, securing critical funding for the district. She also led the adoption of Robert's Rules of Order and the committee as a whole approach to ensure efficient and fair board meetings. Whereas Ms. Autry was instrumental in the extension of the Safety Around Water SAW program and championed the posthumous and honorary diplomas policy in 2025. She also advocated for football turf of Bookdale CLC and many other sports upgrades. And whereas her involvement extends beyond the district through her active participation in the Ohio School Boards Association, serving as an OSBA alternate in 2024 and 2022 through 2024, and OSBA Network Liaison and CUBE Committee member in 2023. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Education of the Akron City School District, County of Summit, and State of Ohio, that Diana Autry is recognized for her outstanding leadership and service as a member and past president of the Akron Board of Education. That sincerest appreciation is extended to Diana Autry by her colleagues, and that a copy of this resolution be made part of the permanent record of the Akron Board of Education, and that a copy also be presented to Ms. Diana Autry. Diana Autry, congratulations, and thank you for your service and commitment. All right, that does conclude our recognitions. Next, however, I do need to make a motion to amend agenda item 16.3 by removing the existing language regarding the employment of Erica McGuire as Community Resource Specialist for Cosmetology, Job Code 486, Fund 001000, General Fund, at the hourly rate of $35.87. As needed, not to exceed 24 hours per week, effective December 9th, 2025 through June 30th, 2026, based on district needs to provide student support contingent upon holding proper credentials for the assignment and obtaining satisfactory BCI and FBI background checks, and replace the following language. I wish to recommend employment of Erica McGuire as substitute teacher, Job Code 042, Fund 001000, which is our general fund, as and when needed for the 2025-2026 school year at the established rate of $145.30 per day, or $78.28 per half day, $207.09 per day, and $111.50 per half day after 5 consecutive days in the same assignment, effective December 9th, 2025, based on district needs to provide student support and instruction contingent upon obtaining proper licensure for the respective teaching assignment and obtaining satisfactory BCI and FBI background checks through June 30th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve amending item 16.3?
So moved.
It's been moved by Member Hall. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Member Autry. Is there any discussion? Member Harrison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make sure that we are here. The rates that you read off are the standard substitute rates. So you read them off, but I just want to make sure everyone knows that that's just a standard substitute rate.
Excellent. Thank you, Member Harrison, for that clarification. Is there any other discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Bowers, roll call, please.
Dr. Molinar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Ms. Hall,
Yes.
Reverend Harrison,
Yes.
Dr. Jackson.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Next, we will hear from our Scholar Board member, Ms. Linnell Turner, who is here representing Garfield CLC. Ms. Turner? Yes, baby.
Madam, Mr. President, Mr. Superintendent, honorable board members and guests, good evening, everyone. My name is Linnell Turner, and I am an 11th grade student at Garfield. I am a part of the First Energy Academy of Emergency Technical and Design in the criminal justice pathway. I am also a 3-year varsity Leatherman in cheerleading. I love cheer because it's fun to do with my friends, and it gives me a chance to be a leader. My memo is to lead by example, both on a team and in the classroom. Some of my favorite experiences in the criminal justice program have been attending the Police Expo, where I was able to see different aspects of police work, and visiting the Akron court last year to watch real court cases being tried live. The classes I enjoy most are the ones that focus on real life, such as financial literacy, creative writing, and English. And my criminal justice courses, where I've learned CPR and many different elements of law so far. One of the things I love most about Garfield is the staff. I always feel supported, and I know I can talk to them about anything. I am proud to be an honor roll student. I also really enjoy our RAM Reward PBIS program. It motivates students to do the right thing, coming to class on time, staying off our phones, and completing our work. I've been able to participate in several rewards, including movie buyouts and other fun activities. As a member of the Scholar Board, I want to advocate for all Akron Public School students. One of the biggest changes I would like to see is having more real-world classes and examples, especially around financial literacy and life skills we will need after high school. I believe these classes should also start earlier in middle school so students have more time to prepare for the future. After high school, I am still exploring, but I am interested in cosmetology, healthcare, or criminal justice careers that allows me to help people, which is what I love to do. Thank you all for listening and giving me the opportunity to share my thoughts about the future of Akron Public Schools.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. Next, we do have requests to address the board. I'm sorry, yes, Member Hall?
Thank you, Dr. Jackson. I just had a question for you. Is there a mock trial program at your school?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. I think that's important. If our students are in criminal justice and they want to become attorneys, we need to set them up for success. I know that some of our parochial schools have like mock trial where there's an attorney that comes and maybe volunteers their time and take the students and do like live court sessions where you go to a courthouse and so forth. So I think that'd be a great addition. You know, we can look into that for our students. So good luck to you and keep on pushing. And also, once you finish your first year in college and you have 32 credit hours, you can work for the city of Akron in the law department as an internship, and it's paid. Okay? So just keep that in mind. All right.
Thank you, Member Hall. Member Harrison?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to say to Ms. Turner how proud I am that you are a Garfield Golden Ram, that you are representing Garfield so eloquently. We hear you, and whatever you need, you make sure to email this board. Amen?
Amen.
Thank you, Member Hall and Member Harrison. Now, I do know that Bookto, current Judge Hamilton has a program, law program, and things that he's doing with the students at Bookto. And the name leaves me at this moment, but that's something that maybe we can look at as far as what that program looks like, because I know they do meet with the judges, they do see judges to where that is duplicable, right, throughout all schools, as what you've stated multiple times, Member Hall, the consistency throughout the district of what's offered. So that's something that just for maybe you to look into down the line. So thank you for that. Now, we do have requests to address the board. Before you all are called up, I do have something that needs to be read so that you all are aware and it can be adhered to. Participants will not be permitted to speak on matters related to vendors, business matters, formal complaints, grievances, specific students or student records, personnel matters, and potential or pending legal matters. Participants must speak on matters related to the business of the board. Please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. The board will not respond, but will assign through the superintendent the appropriate person for follow-up. Please also state your name as well as your group affiliations. The first person we have to present to this board is Ms. Gwen Bryant.
My name is Gwen Bryant, and my affiliation is me. I come before the board to express my heartfelt gratitude and thanks to my friend Bruce Alexander for his 16 years of dedicated service to Akron Public Schools Board. I've been a friend and a colleague of Bruce for over 20 years, and during that time, one truth has always remained steady. In Bruce, you will find someone who has honesty, accountability, a strong sense of ethics, and deep empathy. These qualities aren't just admirable, they are the foundation of good leadership, and Bruce has constantly and consistently embodied them. When we are born, our life's dash begins, a simple mark that represents our entire time on earth, and every time we experience and accomplish. For most of the years I have known Bruce, he has lived that dash with purpose. His life has been centered around family, community, and service, and Akron has been the better for it. As a resident of Akron and former educator in Akron Public Schools, I want to personally thank you, Bruce, for your unwavering commitment to our district students for over the past 16 years. I have no doubt that you will continue to serve this community and its young people in meaningful ways. My grandmother would often remind me that the way we travel through life matters, that our life suitcase will one day be open and judged by our actions, our relationships, and the choices we make. And before we enter the gates of heaven, we must be accounted for those as we carry in that life suitcase. Bruce, I am certain that when that moment comes, you will receive extra credit for your life suitcase, for your exemplary years of service of Akron Public Schools. Thank you for leading with integrity, compassion, and purpose. Your impact will be felt for many years in the city of Akron. I also want to extend gratitude to the other two members who are leaving the school board, because anytime people who decide to serve the most defenseless citizens on this earth, who are children, we have to say thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have, I believe it's Dennis Cheek, or it looks like it says Dennis. North High. Oh, so he signed up accidentally. Okay, got you. Okay, next we will have V. Russ Neal.
Good evening. My name is Russ Neal. I'm affiliated with the Booker High School, 1040. Through and through. I just wanted to come down and say thank you to my brother Bruce, my sister Dr. Carla Jackson, and to my black and white sister, Diana Archery. I appreciate your service and being willing to serve. I mean, I've worked with each one of you in the community, and I know that your calling is not just for this board, it's lifelong. So I just want to let you know I appreciate each one of you and the work that you do. And to the rest of the board members, I want to let you know I appreciate what you do. But I also want to share a concern. And when I opened up the paper some time ago and I saw this exceeding standards, I felt a certain kind of way. And I tell you why. Like I said, I bleed black and white. I love Akron Public Schools, but I bleed black and white. And when I was in school under Comrade Ott, they wanted to integrate the school system. So what they did was they bused children. The only district they bused from was Buchtel. They bused them everywhere. They brought, to attract students to Buchtel, they brought Buchtel University High School. Judge Kelly McLaughlin came to Buchtel for the Law and Careers program. At Buchtel was a program called the Performing Arts. So outstanding that Stephanie Mills came to Buchtel to see them perform The Wiz. Of course, we all know Paul Tazewell came out of that program. But of course, for some reason, somehow, that program was closed and moved from Buchtel to Firestone. When I looked at this program, what hit me was Eddie Ponder, a fireman, created the Fireman's Program at Buchtel. When they moved it from Buchtel to Ellet, we said, wait a minute, why are you moving the program? They said, oh, it's just going to be there temporary. It's actually going to be moved to Stark Tech. But when I looked at this program, it's still at Ellet. I see my time is running out, so let me say this. Sometimes systems have policies and practices, and the intention is good, but the outcome is adverse. When you remove programs that are to enrich education from a school, you weaken the offering at that school. So I will be back just to share some information on how I can help with the institutional knowledge of how we can better provide education at Buchtel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neal. That does conclude our community reflections. Next, we will have our board member reflections, and we'll begin with our outgoing board members, starting at Mr. Alexander.
Thank you, Madam President. I just have a few people I really want to thank. You don't do things by yourself. You have people who help you along the way. And I just want to take my time to say thank you to people. First is my employer, my judge. I work for Judge Linda Teodosio. When I first said I was thinking about running for Akron Public Schools, she supported me then. She supported me once I got on the board, and she continued to support me. So I wanted to make sure that I thank her publicly. Two gentlemen who have been my mentors, and I always said I will always give them credit for anything that I do that is positive, and that is Mr. Gene Scruggs and Mr. Dick Rogers. These two individuals who have been my mentors since I was in high school saw more of me than I saw myself, and they are the reason that I've been able to do a lot of things I've been able to do because they've mentored me, and they continue to mentor me. Mr. Scruggs is 99, and Coach Rogers is 76, and both of those guys are still in my life to this day. I want to thank my treasurer, Robert Hood. He's my family and good friend. He has always been there to support me. Actually, when I first ran, he was the first one to deposit money into the account. And the money he gave was a healthy amount to help us get started. So I want to thank him because I really appreciate him and I care about him a lot. Next person is Darren Wright. Darren is here today. Darren was my campaign manager. And Darren, when I wanted to stop, and I said, this is not for me. He said, no, yes, it is. And he said, where do we come from? You don't quit. And so, Darren, thank you. Appreciate you, brother, because you pushed me. Past board members that I've been with, there are a lot of board members I was able to serve with. And thank all of you who are current board members here. I saw Lisa Mansfield, who's here, who I served with, and I don't know if there's anyone else here that I served with, but thank you all because a lot of the work that we've done for Akron Public Schools has been good. All the superintendents, David James, Christine Fowler-Mack, Dr. Michael Robinson, and current Superintendent Mary Ollie, all of them have the best interests of the kids, and that's what we always need to have people in those type of leadership positions. The teachers, you work hard, you make sure our kids get what they're supposed to, administrators, the counselors, the support staff, the principals, all of you for giving as much as you can give and gave to all of our students. The community at large, thank you for having the confidence in me to serve Akron Public Schools for 16 years for 4 terms. And if you didn't vote me in, then I would have never been here. But thank you, community, because I appreciate all of you for having confidence in me. And my family, I definitely have to thank them. My wife, Wilma, I think she's here. I don't know if my daughters are here, my granddaughter, but I want to thank them because there's a lot of time that I spent away from home, doing things here in the city, doing things out of the city, doing other things in other states, and all of it was for schools and the kids. So I want to thank them. Thank my family. I saw my brother. I don't know, he must have left. He don't stay long nowhere. Where is he at? Oh, I was one of them. Okay, Jeff, thank you. And Henry's probably the one that's gone. He never stays around. I want to thank them. I love y'all. And my Kappa brothers, thank you, especially Kevin Smith. Smitty and I have been together for a long time, been friends for a long time, and we support each other no matter what. I could be down, he can call me, and it'll pick me up and vice versa. So I want to thank him and all our brothers, because I've had some very good experiences with my fraternity brothers, and there's some things that they've done for me they didn't have to do that are personal, and I want to thank them for that. And the last thing I want to say, I want to leave a quote that is contributed to Dr. Martin Luther King. And I think this is important for everybody, anybody who works with kids, including us as board members. It says, intelligence plus character, that is the goal of true education, which means to teach one to think both intensively and critically while building their character, including their moral integrity. This is something that all board members and all those who work with kids should be conscious of this here, because our kids are always watching, and we want them to see us doing a lot of positive things and not a lot of negative things. So I want to thank all of you who've been to support me throughout these years. Thank you so much, and thank you for caring about the kids that we have here in Akron Public Schools. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Mr. Alexander. Ms. Autry? Yeah.
First, thanking God, my family, and friends. The best thing about this district and this board are the children that we serve. The rest of us are just ancillary, for it's their very existence and their money that makes us even necessary. It's been my honor and pleasure to serve these last 6 years. It was a privilege to visit every single school, many classrooms, countless events, competitions, presentations, locally and nationally. Most notably during COVID, I will never forget the commitment, the empathy, and spirit of collaboration of so many of us, assuring our children remain educated and fed. And I thank and appreciate my former board colleagues, including Mr. Alexander, and all who served in any capacity during that special time. There's a quote that alludes to the fact that sometimes you plant seeds for trees whose shade you will never enjoy. I've sown many seeds, and with pride, I've had the privilege to enjoy some of the shade, including the creation and carrying out of the first strategic plan in decades, leaving Akron Public Schools with the highest report card rating in decades, turf at my alma mater, the Safety Around Water program for our third graders, a permit process that went from paper to electronic since I've been here with affordable new fees. But as the quote says, some of the shade I will never sit under, and that's okay, because I've served my time. The challenges of this 177-year district didn't begin or end with my 6-year tenure. The transition report and its recommendations held up a comprehensive and honest mirror to the historical challenges that face this district. They say you have to know where you've been to know where you're going. And just because you don't like the messenger doesn't mean the message isn't relevant and true. Deep-rooted systemic practices and attitudes with Confederate overtones continue to violate our equitable intentions in real time. The casual eroding of programs and projects at our most vulnerable schools is a symptom of that. And so as we enter a new era of public education with the infusion of politics and big money, has seemingly produced a mandate of sorts, but with less than 20% voter turnout, our most economically challenged neighborhoods largely did not exercise their right. But the beauty of public education is that all of those children are welcome, even those whose parents, guardians, and communities didn't vote. They deserve representation. And so lastly, I leave and close how I arrived in 2020 as an advocate for children at the forefront. Prioritized, not just kiddos unworthy to be heard or pawns for political agendas. They are the agenda. Blessings to this district, Superintendent Outley, Treasurer Bowers, incoming board members, and my outgoing board members. I thank you.
Thank you, Member Autry. Okay. No, I was, okay, Alexander, I thought Harrison, I thought you wanted something. Okay, yes, Harrison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I hope Russ Neal is still here. There is something that I want to put on the floor since we're here, and I don't want to miss this opportunity that this board is intact, because this board were the ones who voted on this project. The Buchtel press box, we had an update last week, and Member Autry brought it to our attention last Friday or Saturday that the cost of the project, well, she brought it to our attention that the restrooms were not included. And I want to make sure that we talk about this before this board leaves, that the restrooms were included in the plans that we approved. The approval of the plans, when we approved it, was $1.3 million. The estimate for this project now is $2 million without restrooms. Let me be clear in saying this. Buchtel High School deserves a press box with restrooms, and there is no way that we should be spending over $1 million building a press box with no restrooms. And we cannot continue to switch and bait what we vote on as to what the community gets. It is, Buchtel's press box has been put off, put off, put off. Now we voted on it. The price tag was $1.3 million. Now the estimate is $2 million. I just want to make sure that these board members have an opportunity to affirm or to say, Harrison, you got it wrong. But there is absolutely no way that we can build a press box at Buchtel High School without restrooms and running water. And anytime you're going to spend $1 million, you should have running water and restrooms. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Member Harrison. I forgot I'm not at church. Yes, sir. All right. Mr. Alexander.
I didn't say something that I should have said. That my fraternity is Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. Brothers, yo. Thank you. Thank you, Madam President.
Get it straight. You're going to be in the cut. All right. Thank you. Are there any other board member reflections at this time? Member Hall.
Thank you, President Jackson. First, I would just like to say thank you to the outgoing board members. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your friendship. Thank you for your time. Thank you for caring about our students. You are appreciated, and I know that you will continue to do the work outside of the boardroom. So thank you for that. I just wanted to speak briefly. First, I want to just acknowledge that Akron celebrated its 200th birthday on Saturday, December 6th. So happy birthday, Akron, Ohio, where I was born and raised. And also, Akron has a new logo. So make sure you guys check that out. I was part of that team, so it was good. Okay. Also, I want to acknowledge Cassidy Fidd. Cassidy Fit is hosting a fashion show in collaboration with the LeBron James Family Foundation, Kent State University School of Fashion, and ECLC. Cassidy is an Akron resident, born and raised here in Akron, attended Akron schools, and she is also the daughter of President Dr. Carla Jackson. Cassidy is hosting a fashion show at I Promise. It's called I Promise 2 Fashion Show on Friday, January 30th at 7 p.m. at House 330. She's a senior right now at Kent State, and upon her preparing to graduate, she wanted to give East High School, ECLC, an opportunity once she moved back from Paris. Because she felt that East had a ton of positive things that needed to be highlighted, and felt as if the school did not get enough limelight. Cassidy looks forward to seeing community and board members present at this fashion show that will engage our students. So our students will be helping put this fashion show on. They need your support, they need donations, they need ticket purchases. So by doing this, you will change someone's life. You will give these children an opportunity that they may have never thought existed in their life. And you can make their dreams come true to show that they can be a fashion designer. They can work at Louis Vuitton. They can go to Paris and study. So Cassidy is a prime example of what comes out of Akron. And I'm excited for her to do this. In my last 30 seconds, I want to say that I did visit Cyberling CLC. What a beautiful school. That school is beautiful. And they also have a lot of historical artifacts, such as the owl that was at the original school. And also a statue that looks like Harry Potter. It reminded me of like Harry Potter. One thing that I wanted to state that they have a calming hallway and a push wall. So instead of kicking our kids out of school when they're having a rough day, they may have had a rough day at home, they could be homeless, whatever it is, let's listen to our students and think about adding a push wall into these elementary, middle schools where these kids can go and blow off some steam. Because we adults can walk outside and take a deep breath. We expect these kids to be on it 24/7. Sometimes they might need a break. So I encourage us to look into some mental health, right? That's what we're on, is maybe a push wall or a hallway where our kids can just take a breath when they're going through their own issues. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you, Member Hall. Are there any other board member reflections at this time? Okay, seeing none, I see Principal Rodecker. I'm sorry. I'm going to have you, I'm going to take a moment of privilege, because before we dismiss the student board member, who she was so excited to see her principal come in, I saw you with flowers. I don't know if you want to say a few words or present her with those flowers, but we have to recognize when administrators are loved by students, we know that says something about the administrator. Okay.
So I, of course, am never going to turn down a chance to talk about my children, but Linnell, she said something very briefly, and she doesn't get enough credit, is that she leads by example. So many, we have students that just come in every day, do what they're supposed to do, and go home quietly, and that is what Linnell does. She comes in, she does her work, she works hard at a job, she also does hair on the side, she also is a cheerleader, and she maintains her grades. She leads by example both on and off the court and on and off the field, and she just is honestly one of the hardest workers that just does not get enough credit or sunshine. So today we're going to give you some flowers. So thank you.
All right, thank you. That does conclude the community and board member reflections. And now I'm going to move forward with the president's report. At this time, if you would like to leave, you can, or you can wait till after the president's report. It's up to you, dear heart. Yes, thank you, and great job. Okay, first, I would like to start my final president report by saying, to God be the glory for all the things that he has done. I'm profoundly grateful for the opportunity which began in January 2021 after I was duly elected to serve on this board, later becoming the vice president and ultimately, despite opposition and challenges, being elected president on January 13th, 2025. What an exceptional date for a girl like me to have such a victory. And I will say, ooh, to that. Throughout my tenure, I have remained committed to leading with integrity, guided by faith, and unwavering in my belief that every decision must be anchored in what is best for students and grounded in support for our educators. One of the most inspiring highlights during my service has been witnessing the passion and purpose of young leaders throughout this district. Leaders like, as Summer Member Hall has mentioned, my daughter, Cassidy Fitz, she attended STEM Middle, and she is an Akron native and currently a senior at Kent State University, who envisioned and now has collaborated with others in using her network to present the I Promise fashion show through her brand Carpe Vita. I think it's important to know that Cassidy intentionally chose to honor and uplift ECLC, a school that has often not been received nor recognized regarding its equal potential of greatness. As a tribute to her mentor, friend, and beloved creative voice in our community, Joshmir Mohammed, also known by many of us as Bari. He was a talented designer and also a graduate of East High School who suddenly passed away due to a heart attack this year. Cassie turned her grief into purpose by entering East students into this fashion show and celebrating their gifts. Even more, a portion of the proceeds from this event will be used to establish a scholarship for students attending East and other Akron Public Schools, opening doors of opportunity for young people who reflect the same creativity, resilience, and brilliance that Joshmir embodied. As I've often stated and am reminded of on today, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Cassidy's willingness to invest her treasure back into East reflects a heart of service, legacy, and love for this community. I'm personally committed, not just because it's my daughter, but because it is my community. And for years, I have been known to support scholarships and to help students through college, not only through collective resources, but through my personal resources. So I've pledged $500 towards this initiative. I'm prayerfully inviting community members, local partners, and philanthropic friends to consider matching this contribution, whether individually or collectively, so that we can multiply its impact for our students who we say are at the center of the work. Even a modest match from multiple donors could create a transformative opportunity for students who deserve to know that their city believes in them, supports them, and is ready to invest in their future. I'm so happy to see Dr. Campbell and Vicki McGee from the LeBron James Foundation in the back, because you have sold your efforts, your time, and resources to young people in this community, not asking for anything, and often that is not highlighted. We see often about I Promise, the gains or not that's happening there, but I need to bear witness on today about how you have sown into young people and not asked for a dime and highlighted their brilliance and their greatness with a collaborative spirit and effort. So now I want to honor you and give you a hand clap for what you do and how you give back to the community. I think that's worthy of a hand clap to honor the LeBron James Family Foundation, Dr. Campbell and Ms. McGee. I do this on my way out. I'm not running for election, so you can know it's genuine, amen? Because this is people, we talked about United Way and people who really do the work. I bear witness and saw, even before this time, you all stand in the gap and to do the work. My longstanding passion for youth entrepreneurship has been rooted in the belief that students thrive when they are invited to use their talents to solve problems, create beauty, and build community. Cassie's work is evident on that belief in action. It is my hope that APS continues to nurture and elevate these spaces with creativity, where it meets purpose and legacy meets leadership, and students are empowered to dream audaciously. As I close this chapter, I extend a heartfelt appreciation to the teachers, administrators, staff, families, students, and community partners who have encouraged and supported me, and most importantly, who have supported our children in this work in a very genuine and authentic way. To my colleagues on the board, and to the incoming board members, steward this responsibility with integrity, humility, and courage. Uphold what is righteous. Fight for what is fair and equitable. Champion what is excellent. And above all, keep students at the center, not systems, not politics, or personal agendas. I thank you, Akron. I thank you, members of Central Office of this community, for honoring your promise and your commitment to the young people and to this community. Ms. McKenna's son is going to be honored here later today. I often talk about that I'm a product of Akron Public Schools, and that I absolutely am. From Rankin Elementary to Barrett Elementary to Roswell Kent to Goodyear to the Garfield High School, I'm a daughter of this city, and I, Dr. Carla Jackson, PhD behind my name, came through Akron Public Schools. Teachers like Ms. McKenna poured into me and was the real deal. I was not the perfect student, but when you have teachers who believe all students can learn and who hold to that commitment, you produce Carla Jacksons of the world. For that, Mr. Motter, Ms. Hamilton, and every teacher who has touched my life, I say thank you. And because I understand that I stand on your shoulders. To Dr. Flora N.D.'s, I say thank you for the work that you have done, and for all educators who continue to do the work and continue to look back and to pull forward, because what is it worth to stand and accomplish goals when you are not uplifting those coming behind you? That is what the work must continually to be about. And as I stand here, as principled as I was when I started in red and I'm ending in red. I started principled and standing on my square, unbought, unbossed, and definitely unbullied, with a bold faith, and I end the same way. Akron born and Akron bred. And so to Akron and to the wonderful teachers that have impacted my life in Akron, and to the wonderful teachers I have met on this journey and administrators, I say thank you, thank you, thank you. To the incoming board, God bless you as you move the district forward. Thank you. That concludes the president's report. Next, we will have our wonderful superintendent's updates.
Thank you, President Jackson. This evening, I would like to give a very brief update regarding our building project, specifically what is taking place at Bookdo to address the issue that Member Harrison raised. This was included in an update that was shared with the board. We would also usually bring it forth via our Finance Committee work, but due to that meeting not taking place until the new year due to the timelines being sensitive, I just want to make sure this information is put in front of the board this evening. So at this time, I would like to ask for Ms. Falk to come forth. There's also some representatives from the company that we're using on this project that's present, so that we can present some information but field any questions that the board may have this evening.
Thank you, Madam President, Superintendent, Treasurer Bowers, and members of the board. At this time, we would like to present an update to you for several board projects, but especially the Booktool project. And with us tonight, we do have Dennis Check, who is the lead architect from the architectural firm Hassenstab Architects, and Greg Chaplin, and Greg is the lead architect for the Booktool project.
If I could just share, board members, at your seats you have a packet. We will not go through each bullet. We will just provide an overview of the most important data and allow you the opportunity to guide the discussion.
One of the items that we would like to bring forward to you in your packet was a confirmation of the budget that is currently available for the Bookdale project. There is a link in the packet to it, and it was $2 million, and it is linked in the packet section. And it was established in the budgetary process on May 15th of 2025, as the board was determining that this project should move forward in June. So at this point, the project is moving forward, and I'd like to bring Greg Chaplin up to explain to you exactly how we came to the cost of the project and how they are established. Greg, would you please come up?
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to stand before you and talk about the project at Bookdale. As it currently sits, the project really consists of three main components. There's the removal and replacement of the press box and concession portion that's behind the home side grandstand currently. There's removal of the cinder track and replacement with an asphalt track around the entire perimeter, and widening it to the point that it'll accommodate 6 full lanes. And then the third portion, excuse me, is the restroom and a small storage component building that's kind of at the southeast corner of the site. With those three, part of the project also is extending services underground to future light locations that would illuminate the field at night. So kind of 4 components into the project. We have been through the design process. We do have a construction manager along with us now that's helping put pricing together. So as the project sits right now, in round numbers, it's about a $2.5 million project as priced by our construction manager. We realized obviously that is above the $2 million budget number that was given to us. So in order to find a way to make the project move forward, as we often do with projects, we introduce what are called alternates. And I believe that might have been talked about earlier, or at least with the board. So it was agreed upon to look at, and this doesn't mean removal of this portion of the project, but include the restroom building portion as an alternate. So what that allows the contractor to do is gather their final pricing. Right now it's just an estimate. Gather their final pricing, and included in that pricing is a price all by itself for just the restroom building, to understand how that impacts the overall project. Ideally, when this thing is bid and contractors are all on board, we're sitting at the $2 million or less amount. But in order to be able to move forward with some portion of the project, which is what we discussed internally, we wanted to assign a portion of that project as an alternate, just to understand its cost impact. So again, there's no intention to remove that right now until we understand the pricing of all the components of the project as they are currently designed.
Are there any board members' questions at this time? Member Hall, please.
Thank you. So just a quick question. So we went from 1.3 to 2 million, which is in our documents, and now 2.5 million. You stated that there's 4 components. Removal of the press box, removal and replacement of the press box, the track. Will the track be a competitive track?
It will not. So the current configuration of the track does not permit it, even if you came in and give it a synthetic surface. Just the configuration, the orientation, the size does not really allow it to be a competitive type track. It certainly will function as it does now for practice. It'll have a much better surface to it, one that's conducive to running. The current cinder track is very difficult to run on, but it will not be a competition track. Never was intended, I don't believe, to be a competition track.
Can I have a follow-up?
Absolutely.
Okay, so since it's not a competition track, what is the cost of the track alone? How many lanes does it currently have right now? 4?
4 to 5, because the width of the track varies depending on where you're at. The idea is to widen it where we need to provide 6 full lanes. And I
What's the
apologize.
purpose of the widening it? What is the purpose?
To get it to a 6-lane track, so it is better for the type of practice that I think wants to be handled there. A 4-lane track is difficult to practice on, especially starting in different events. So to get it to, it wouldn't take a lot of widening to get it to 6 lanes. So the thought was, let's make a 6-lane track. We really can't make an 8-lane track. We're restricted, especially on the south side with the press box where it is, the bleachers, and then the parking lot. So getting it to 6-lane seemed to be the ideal configuration.
Okay.
Yes, Member Harrison, please.
Madam Chair, my question would not be for the architect. I appreciate what you're doing. My question would not be for the architect, so I'll wait for him to be done.
All right, if there's no, because you'll be immediately after he takes his seat, Member Harrison. If there's no, are there any other questions for the architect directly? Because I believe we are going to go into discussion about this, but if it's direct questions, Member Hall, you may follow up.
Thank you. Do we happen to have a drawing of what this should look like? It's going to look like this over $2 million. Do we have a drawing that we can put up?
I sent some over. I don't know if they're available tonight, but we do have drawings that are, to a degree where you could see that. I don't know if they're available this evening to look at. I apologize.
Okay. I would just like to ask, going forward, when we do have architects come, that we're able to see what we're voting on. Because we can vote on something and it can still not, you know what I'm saying? Not saying
Absolutely, no.
what you're doing is not up to standards, but we can vote on something and it not look like what we imagine it to be, or would have thought, or what the community may have said. It may just be something that's totally flipped and done a different way. So
Sure.
I would definitely like to see drawings.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, if no other questions for the architect, sir, we thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Member Harrison, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I pulled up the resolution that we voted on. The resolution that we voted on has no dollar amount. And it has no dollar amount because we continually talked about the dollar amount. When we did the budget, the 5-year forecast, the year prior, it was $1.3 million we talked about. When we talked about it in March, it was $1.3 million with restrooms. When we talked about it in May, it was $1.3 million with restrooms. I'm looking at the resolution and the agreement on the resolution on June 9th. There's no dollar amount on here because we trusted what was said. To add to that, we asked the superintendent and the directors not to come up and give us a presentation, an oral presentation, because things continue to change. If you give us something, give it to us in writing so that we know what we're talking about. Everyone is on the same page. And so now we're here, and we have to tell a community that we're going to spend $2.5 million possibly, and they're not going to have any restrooms. We are going to build a press box at a high school with a synthetic turf, and we're going to run lighting around it. We're going to run wires for lighting to come, but no restrooms. That's not reasonable. It's not reasonable. And so now I'm going to throw in a word that we use with the Kimmore project, value engineering. So I think we have to go back to the table and look at how we can get this community restrooms. The community was supposed to get a synthetic track, turf, and they didn't. And thanks to Diana Autry and Christine Fowler-Mack, that Christine Fowler-Mack has some connections with the Cleveland Browns. Diana Autry pushed the issue, and they got the turf that they were supposed to get anyway. They were supposed to get lights, but we didn't give them lights. We ran new wires at Elliott so that they can upgrade their lighting. I don't want to make this an issue of the haves and the have-not, but this is an issue of the haves and the have-nots. This is that issue. And if we're going to be who we say we're going to be, then we need to honor the agreements that we've made to this community, to this school, because they are just as important as any other high school in the city. They're just as important. They're the second best high school we got in the city. Garfield. But we're here at this place because we promised something, and we have to deliver on that promise. We have to deliver on the promise.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that, Member Harrison. Member Molinar, please. I did see your hand from the architect. No, I recognize you, Member Molinar, and then we'll circle back to the architect.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone who has brought this up. And thank you, Member Harrison, for reminding everyone that this item was part of our June 9th, I'm sorry. This resolution is in our June 9th board docs, and there is, we actually did receive the contract in our content, and I would like to read a portion from page 27 of that, because this is what informed my understanding and my expectations of what this project entailed. So it says, the owner's program includes the design and construction of a new press box to replace the existing facility that will include a concession stand, storage, and public restrooms. The second-story press box will be approximately 500 square feet. The first story will be approximately 3,500 square feet. The project will also include paving of and stormwater upgrades to the warm-up track, stadium, electrical upgrades for future lighting, and upgrades to landscaping, including possible fencing upgrades. There's another paragraph, and it says total project budget, $2 million. So I was, as I have heard from my colleagues and community members, expecting for $2 million a concession stand that included public restrooms. I am confused at this point where that gap is, and if value, what was that term again? Value engineering is what we need to do. I am welcome to hear that part of the conversation, but I don't understand why this isn't happening.
All right. You can come. No, it's no problem. You can come back up and address it, but I'm going to have Member Harrison. So, because possibly everything they're addressed, and then you can just hit it one swoop. Member Harrison, please.
I just want to make a clarification, and Dr. Molnar said it, but the restrooms that we're talking about for the press box is not just for the press in the press box. The restrooms are for those who are at the games, the general public. Those are the restrooms that we're talking about, restrooms for the general public. Just want to make that clarification.
Thank you for the clarification. Sir, please come up.
Thank you.
And just for a point of clarity, too, thank you for reading that, Member Molnar, who referenced also $2 million in June.
To address your point first, so originally, when we were given the project, it was understood, or at least it was thought, I think, whoever put the proposal together, that there would be a single building that had a press box or a viewing box above and a concession restroom building below. That was ideal. It's one building. As we looked at the site, after we were hired, we started to investigate the site, we realized, if you've ever been to Bookdale, you'll know behind the stands to the edge of the track, it's only 10 feet. And so to create a restroom, concession, press box building under one roof was going to be something that was extremely long and very narrow. It just didn't work. So at that time, we decided it made the most sense to pull the restroom function out from that building and create a separate building from a dollar and cent standpoint. So that's why there's multiple components, maybe more than what you had described. So I just want to clarify that it was originally thought to be a single building. Now it's two buildings. And I apologize then if I misled maybe what I said was included as those four parts in the $2.5 million. So, and the $2.5 million is a preliminary estimate right now from a construction manager based on design development documents, not 100% documents. So it's preliminary. Again, the four components included in the $2.5 million is the extension of services, conduit for the future lights, not lights, update of the track, a building that's a press box and concession below, and a separate building that's a restroom and a storage building. Those four components are what's included preliminarily from an estimate from a construction manager in the $2.5 million.
Please, Member Harrison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to make sure that the architects know that this is not an issue that I have with the architectural firm. We appreciate the work that you have done and the time that you have put into this, and we appreciate you helping us get to where we need to be and looking at the best options available. So we do appreciate that. The issue that I raise is an internal issue, is for the board and the administration to work through, but I just don't want to leave you with the impression that we are here unhappy with your services. We appreciate your service, sir.
Thank you. And I never thought that, but thank you very much for clarifying.
Thank you. Member Hall?
Just one last question for you, sir. When you stated that it's not wide enough, right, to put the bathroom and all of that, will that then run into the well, I'll ask my questions real quick. If you were to extend and add the bathrooms to the one building, would that then go out to the parking lot? And if so, have we spoken with like the school to ask, like, is this parking, really used in the back to extend it out?
So the problem with extending it out is the track, unlike most tracks that are inside of the stands, the track at Bookdale goes between the stands and the parking lot. It's behind the press box. So there's really, the only way to extend what that building would be towards the parking lot would be to block off the south lane of the track completely. That's part of the non-competition, function or ability of the track, is because the track is outside of the stands on both sides, the north and the south side. Mm-hmm. The track is beyond the seating. So to do that would just eliminate the ability to have a complete track around the facility.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Member Autry, please.
Thank you, Madam President. And so I was able to sit in on a meeting. I believe it was Deb Folk, yourself, and the principal and myself. And so I know we actually reviewed the plans, and I do recall a conversation specifically about the restrooms, because I asked, well, how come they can't be by the entrance? And it was explained to me that due to the water lines that they had to be near the Morley side. So that's my recollection. But I do also remember the conversation about the lights being a future project, but there was no discussion about the restrooms being in a future project. But most importantly, I think it's important that we, Mr. Neal spoke to it a little bit earlier. Historically speaking, we cannot continue to disappoint and disrespect the Bookdale cluster. We have to be better. I came on this board, I harassed the board before I was on the board, and now I'm leaving the board harassing this district, telling you we have to be aware of the effects of that relationship. We have to make it right. We have to be better. So I just wanted to say that much. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Autry. Are there any other discussions or comments? Vice President Alexander?
Yeah, I'll just mention, my colleague was asking, is there going to be a timeline for this here so that board members can get a chance to look at this again?
Ms. Falk?
In the packet is the actual timeline. This becomes critical to us to get this done. Hopefully, we can move forward with this in order to allow the bids, as Craig talks about, to be out on the street so we can get our bids open by January 1st to review who are going to actually do the construction, because the actual timeline end of this was to get this project done by mid-August so that we would have it ready for fall. If we go beyond that much farther, we will not be able to meet that timeline. So we need to open the bids, review them, get the board's approval for what is called the GMP, which is the guaranteed maximum amount to be spent by the contractor in order to build it, with a groundbreaking hopefully in March to allow it to move forward to be completed by August. Thank you.
Member Harrison?
Madam Chair, I can confidently say we're not going to get this done quick. We're going to get this done right. We're going to get it done right. And so if we miss that timeline, then we're just going to have to talk to the Brookville community and say, we wish we had this thing for you by August. But we don't have it for you by August, but we're going to make sure that we have it for you correctly, and we're going to make sure that we're going to give you what you need. I'm a little confused that we just read the motion that they were supposed to get restrooms. Why would we put something out for bid that doesn't have restrooms? Why would we try to get this out in January if we're bidding on something that still does not have restrooms? I think a proper way to proceed is to sit down at some point. If we have to do it next week, I'm available. If we have to do it tomorrow, I will be available. But we need to sit down and find out how we can put some restrooms in this project, because when we approved the project had restrooms in. So I don't see a reason to send something out for bid that's not going to be the project. And I would assume when you get in the middle of a construction project, when you start changing plans, it costs more money. So I think that we should get it right, get the plans right, get the blueprints right, find out how we can do this, and then proceed with the bidding process. Thank you, Madam Chair.
No, thank you, Member Harrison. Member Hall?
This will be my final comment, I promise. I just want to say, Member Harrison, you kind of took the words right out of my mouth. Every time a contract comes up, it always has to be done right now. Like, we never have time as a board or even the community to kind of review what's going on, because it has to be voted on right now. So I asked, when we go into 2026, can we stop having contracts presented to us right now, where we have to have the vote right now? Like, if we know something's coming up, like contracts come up every June, can we maybe get it in March so we can look at it, bring it to committee so we can look at it, and then in June, we will be prepared. You know, we'll have April and May to ask those questions, and then in June we can vote on it without having this full-blown conversation. And the reason why, I'm sorry, I'm not going to speak for you, but I had asked Member Alexander, I forget your name, sorry. Member Alexander, like the timeline. I see a timeline, you know, and thank you for that. But what we don't have is the timeline of when the lights are going to be put up, when the bathroom was going to be placed in. We spoke about it, and to the understanding, the architect stated that, you know, the bathroom would have to be later. But what's later? I don't want to approve something and then we don't get the bathroom for 5 to 10 years. If we're going to approve something, we need an adequate timeline that's going to show us everything, even if it says June of 2027. Let's make sure that we have an accurate timeline, because this timeline right here really just talks about bids and vendors and approving bids and groundbreaking. But it's not a completed project if everything's not done that is supposed to be done that Dr. Molinar read off. So August 26th is not a project to be completed because it won't be complete without everything that we voted on originally. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hall. Is any other board members? I think the only statement I'll make is that I'm smiling because before Member Hall was on this board and before their election came, they came on the board. This was the same discussion about these urgent contracts getting pushed through. So saying this is not a new conversation. So now, you identify where the problem lays. That when it's presented to the board, it's presented from a state of urgency that put the board, and I like how the young people say, in a chokehold, to where we have to respond immediately, and it's just not good business. Another thing is, I told Member Harrison, who has advised and I've talked to often. I don't know much about sports, right? I'm not a big sports person, and I know that Member Harrison, as well as some others, talk about the Garfield situation. And, when I was at Garfield, it was a dynasty. Coach McGee was making things happen there, but that the field is not conducive for football. I'm just going to throw that out there. I'm not going to get into all schematics because I don't know, and I don't like to talk about things I don't know. East Track is not conducive, even though we're doing work there and we're spending money, but it's not conducive to be a competitive track. And now we're talking about Bookto not being conducive. And what I want to challenge the board and the central office to understand, the that-a-do mentality will not do. Because why would it be that this is okay for these specific 3 schools? Because I don't know that if they were somewhere else, because I remember we talked about millions for lights in the concession stand for another school over there further east. And that was acceptable for lights, but they have a conducive field. So when we talk about fairness, or the word that is one of those hard words that people seem now, equitable things, then I think we have to start at the main thing. What is the mindset that a do is always okay for certain schools? I don't understand. Member Harrison, I think, teed it up perfectly. Why would we build something and it not be complete? What make you think that a do is okay in that cluster? Why are we spending all this money on things that are not really conducive for proper programming? It's hard for me to wrap my head around that. And if we need something else to get it to where it needs to be, then possibly that needs to be the conversations when we talk about innovative and creative solutions and partnerships with YMCAs or whatever to make it be what we need it to be. And so I'm talking too much, I know, but that's okay. It's my last meeting. This is the things to talk about. It's crazy. That I do. Press by, no bathrooms for the people. After we already said Bookto's situation was a health hazard, no running water. What we're doing? Akron Public Schools is one school. Y'all talk about equity and create more barriers and put Band-Aids on things. Have those real conversations and do the real work and take the time. So I'm in agreement. Well, don't matter, but I'll be out there in the gallery, but saying the same thing. Yeah, I mean, all right. All right, thank you. All right, so moving on, Superintendent.
Thank you. So the reason for the discussion was, one, to talk about the original price and the increase. And so I believe through the discussion, we came to the understanding that in June, it was $2 million and not the 1.3. So that's just one thing that was fruitful from the discussion. The other was to bring it to your attention to say that we do need to make some adjustments. And we did not want to make those adjustments without first coming to the board to make sure you were aware that there was a difference in price. So we will go back and continue to work and bring you updates. We are not under the gun. We will need to let the community know if the timeline does need to adjust as you stated.
Member Harrison, please.
Madam Chair and Ms. Superintendent, the board needs to be actively involved in those discussions.
Most definitely, because we appreciated Ms. Autry, so we'll make sure everybody knows when the meetings are happening.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to see if that video's ready.
Okay. Thank you, Superintendent. Superintendent is looking. There was supposed to be a video that was supposed to be presented during the discussions for you all, which is what she's checking on now. Next on the, which will be a part of what the superintendent is also presenting, so she's checking on that. Currently, there is, did you have something, Member Harris? I was wishing you did. Yes, Member Hall, please.
I guess I didn't tell the full truth about not speaking on this topic. But while we're waiting for Superintendent, I think the community would be okay with waiting, to Mr. Harrison's point of it being done right. I don't think the community, the Bookto community, will be sad or upset or, angry with it being done the right way. So, yeah.
Most definitely. Again, that's why the discussion was brought this evening, so we could have this understanding. Member Hall, did you want to cue the video that's coming up right now? It was part of your original presentation, the Carpe Diem. Okay. Well, I think the video is going to speak for itself. It's just an extension of the report that Member Hall was providing about the opportunities that are being provided to the students at East High School. But it's through their words and not ours. So we're ready to play it.
My favorite thing about East is my business pathway and the beautiful people that I see every single day.
My favorite thing about East is my marketing classroom. I love the fact that we come there and we learn different ways to put out our business or promote.
My favorite thing about East is my hospitality pathway, my friends, and the incredible teachers here.
What I hope to gain from this fashion show is real-world situations to help me grow and mature, and I hope I gain them.
I hope to gain work ethic. I want to gain the knowledge of actually doing a fashion show. I want to learn how to do different styles when it comes to being a fashion artist. Yeah.
I hope to gain work ethic, commitment, and multitasking.
I want the community leaders at East to put time into us, more so see us as individuals and not just a whole. I feel like most of us do so good and we can get recognized for that. We can get more people to pour into us, just have us see like a different vision for East in ourselves.
I want community leaders to show interest into East and actually care about us and just show effort, just be there. That's all we need.
I would like the community leaders to sow into seeing the positive and the good in each and every kid and just seeing every little thing that we do here.
Since my time working with the students at East, I've learned so much about each and every student. I hope that every community leader hears them and understands the need that they require. Each student has a different story and a different purpose and a different background. We are currently seeking people to offer mentorships, apprenticeships, and anything that you feel led to do for the students at East Community Learning Center. East has so many amazing pathways and different things that each student can utilize, but how can they understand how to use each and everything if nobody is giving them the shot? I hope that you look into your heart and look deep and look at the students at East and think about, if that was you at 17, 18, 19, what would you want from community leaders? We hope that each and every community leader is able to donate their time, effort, and anything where they see a need. Materials are always a good thing, but time is the most valuable asset. So by giving your time to these students and allowing them to know that there is someone that cares and someone out there willing to give them a shot and a chance, I think it would be very valuable to the students of ECLC. We hope to see each and every one of you at our fashion show, I Promise to Fashion, January 30th from 7 to 9 at House 330.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Thank you. As a response to our early literacy and overall reading achievement, we have declared 25-26 our year of literacy. So I'm excited to announce the 3 winning buildings with the highest number of books read in November for the Superintendent's Book Club, one district, one theme at a time. The elementary school winner is Barber CLC with an outstanding 308 books read. The middle school winner, once again, is Miller South with 56 books read. And our high school winner is North High School, finishing strong with 149 books read. We just want to note that at the middle and high school level, we know that these are more challenging books. They're chapter books with more challenging content, so that makes reading this many books in a month's time really an accomplishment. We want to congratulate all of our students and staff who participated in the Superintendent's Book Club, and thank you for helping us foster a strong culture of literacy. We also extend our gratitude to our wonderful parents and families for your support and for encouraging your children to read. Together, we're making a lasting difference. We do have a trophy that travels around the district, one at elementary, one at middle school, and one at the high school, each month to the school that is the winner. Also, don't forget that we have on once a week, we have a reader in the spotlight. Most recently, LeBron James read his book, I Promise. And so if any of you are interested in being a highlighted reader for our students, please let us know and we can make that happen. We want our students to see the joy in reading in us so that they can catch fire with it as well. At this time, I would like to conclude my remarks by addressing our board members that are exiting. So to President Jackson, Member Alexander, and Member Autry, as your tenure on our Board of Education comes to a close, I want to express my deepest gratitude for your dedicated service to our school district and the students we serve together. Your commitment to our schools have been extraordinary. The countless hours you've spent in meetings, the difficult decisions you have navigated, and the advocacy you've provided for our students, staff, and community have made a lasting impact. Board service requires personal sacrifice, evenings away from family, challenging conversations, and the weight of discussions that affect thousands of lives. You have carried these responsibilities with integrity and grace. I've appreciated your partnership and the trust that you have placed in me and our administrative team. During your time on the board, we have accomplished meaningful work together, whether it was approving budgets that stretched every dollar for maximum student benefit, adopting policies that strengthened our educational programs, or supporting initiatives that moved our district forward. Your thoughtful leadership has been invaluable. You brought diverse perspectives, asked important questions, and always kept students at the center of the work. As you transition from this role, please know that your legacy will continue to benefit our students for years to come. The decisions you've made and the foundation you helped build will serve as a springboard for future achievements. Thank you for your service, your wisdom, and your unwavering dedication to our school community. I wish you all the best in your future endeavors. And also, I did want to point out that I do see 2 incoming board members in the room and just wanted to extend a welcome I'm sorry, three. There's three in the boardroom. Phil Montgomery, Carmea Kelly, and Nathan Jarose. Welcome. We look forward to working with you starting in January. Congratulations on your election. And again, thank you to our outgoing board members. Job well done.
Thank you, Superintendent Outley. Also, just for a point of information, that video that you saw was created by the students at ECLC. They do have that audio, visual pathway. So those students did the editing, they did the whole video. She's trying to utilize every resource that they have there at East. So there's some great things happening over there on the East Side. So shout out to those teachers and those students for that. Currently, we have that there is no treasurer report. Okay, do you have, it says it's no report, so do you have updates? Is that what you want to do? Because I have no, okay, no problem. You may give some updates, Treasurer.
I'll be very quick. I just want to mention that we are in 22.3, asking the board to transfer the 1992 Oma Evans Scholarship Funds to the Akron Community Foundation. We can only award the income from that, and the Akron Community Foundation has more options for investing the money, so they'll earn more money than we could here, so it offers an opportunity for more scholarships. And second, the House bills I mentioned last meeting have not moved to the governor yet for veto or not, so we're still waiting for that, especially House Bills 309 and 335, which may have an effect on our inside millage. And I would just like to thank you also, the three board members. It's been a real short work period for us together, but for all of your support and all that you've done for the school district. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers, and thank you for all of your hard work that you hit the ground running, sir, so we are grateful to you as well. I just have one question about this scholarship fund movement. And I'm only asking this question because I know my business in Delta, we have a fund and foundation when we move money, and sometimes the control of that shifts. So I'm just curious. I don't know if this is a time, this might be something the committee meet. I just thought I'd throw that out there because I know when money shifts, like when you house the scholarship, there's a certain level of control with it. I understand about the investment, and we say it's more leverage, that we can give out more scholarships by doing that. You don't have to answer that now. I just want to put that out for later discussion, is to what is then the authority and the authority of Akron Public Schools once this money goes, as it gives the Akron Community Foundation the complete power and authority to assign and to administer as the administrators of the scholarship. Are they just serving as a fiduciary agent, giving still Akron the authority and the autonomy to select scholars? This is recorded, so you can look back at it later. I don't need the answer now. I just wanted to get that out of my head because, scholarships, that's my jam. So I would kind of ask those type of questions. So remember, so you don't have to answer now. Just it could be a later discussion, follow up.
Mr. Montgomery mentioned this as well tonight, so I was going to check with legal counsel on where we are.
Oh, Montgomery's smart like me, huh?
Yeah. So this was something I was not aware of, so I am learning as we go. But
okay, no worries.
We will try to see if we can retain that control.
Yeah, which MOUs and things like that can circumvent that, so it can work. Member Hall?
No, thank you for chiming in, because she was saying not to answer it today, but it's on our agenda. And before I vote on it, I did want to answer that. So if we could find out, how that works, then we can move forward. Thank you.
Okay, Member Hall. So we can follow up maybe at the next finance meeting since it's moving. I don't know. So you'll all figure that out, right? All right, moving right along. Thank you again, Mr. Bowers. We're moving on to the approval of previous meeting minutes. Is there a motion to approve the regular board meeting minutes from November 24th, 2025?
I move to approve the November 24th meeting minutes.
Thank you, Member Autry. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Vice President Alexander. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Bowers, roll call, please.
Mrs. Sykes? Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Reverend Harrison?
Yes.
Dr. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Molinar?
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Next, we will have our personnel recommendations. Superintendent Outley.
Thank you. Just before I begin, I do want to make one acknowledgement that I left out, and that is we do have an incumbent that is returning to the board, and that is Member Harrison. So congratulations on returning to the board. Buchtel is still better. Okay. Okay. Thank you, President Jackson. Does the board have questions about personnel items for Section 10, professional staff and administrators?
Member Harrison, please.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I wanted to speak about 10.3, and I want to let everyone know that on 10.3, we're going to give this administrator a pass. We're going to not hold Saturday's game against him. Mr. McKinnon, in 10.3, attended, graduated, and played football for Indiana University. And so I just want everyone to give him a chance. Thank you.
Thank you. It's all right to laugh sometime, right? Thank you, Member Harrison. We appreciate that. All right. Any other questions? All right, Superintendent.
Section 11, miscellaneous. Section 12, supplemental contracts. Section 13, substitute teachers. Section 14, tutors. Section 15, support staff. Section 16, paraprofessionals. Section 17, child nutrition. Section 18, maintenance, operations, transportation. Section 19, security. Section 20, students. If there are no questions, I wish to recommend the approval of the personnel recommendations presented in categories 10 through 20.
Thank you, Superintendent. Is there a motion to approve the personnel recommendations in categories 10 through 20?
So moved.
It's been moved by Member Hall. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Member Autry. Is there any discussion? Member Hall?
I just want to say, as we're voting today for Mr. McKenna to be the new Director of Athletics, I just pray that you continue to move in the right direction for our students. You know, we speak about, we can't really say DEI anymore, but please make sure that all of your decisions are equitable. Please make sure that you're making decisions for our children and not based off of other things, that all of our children have a fair chance, and that each school and each sport has the same opportunity as everyone else. So that's all I wanted to say. Congratulations, and well, we haven't voted yet, but that's all I wanted to say. Just coming in, please just make sure all your decisions are fair for our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hall. Member Autry.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I, too, Mr. McKinnon, just want to welcome you as a person who thoroughly enjoys sports in our district and appreciates what it does for our youth, our family. I just want to welcome you, thank you, and keep in mind the rich traditions in this district. I actually had conversations with Superintendent Outley not too long ago about considering bringing Turkey Day back in some form or fashion. And I know at the high school level, that's a challenge because OSHA and the playoffs and whatnot. But we do have middle school sports now, and so just something to keep in mind because sports has always been a unifying factor. This past Thanksgiving, conversations around the table are always about remember Turkey Day, and so that is something just to consider. And welcome and thank you.
All right, Ms. Vice President Alexander?
I've already met Mr. McKinnon, but welcome to the district, and I know you do a good job.
I already spoke on him because his mother was an excellent math teacher at Garfield High School. I would say let's explore some of them NIL deals for some of ours if we get some exceptional athletes. That's what type time I'm on as that 4th E advocate, name, image, and likeness for our standout athletes. Maybe how we can look to explore that. But welcome as we move forward towards a vote. Okay, if nothing else?
Just vote.
All right. Vote.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Reverend Harrison?
Yes.
Dr. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Molinar?
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes?
Yes.
Motion's carry 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Superintendent?
Just momentarily, before moving on, this evening the board approved item 10.3, the hiring of Thomas McKinnon as our district's athletic coordinator. And Mr. McKinnon, as you all have acknowledged him, is present in the room. And would you like just to say a few words, just a few brief words?
I can talk forever.
No, you
I
cannot.
probably won't use the microphone. I still have that old coach voice. I was kind of hoping the Indiana thing would slide under the radar there. Had me a little worried. And just hearing some of you, I want to thank you for the wonderful words about my mother. She will be deeply touched when I reach out to her this evening. I will promise you that every decision I make will be kid-centered. Every decision I make as an athletic director is what's best for kids. And it always will be, and that's how I base myself. I want to thank the board. I'd like to thank the superintendent. I would like to thank the hiring committee. I can tell you this, my father was the athletic director at Akron Kenmore, was a biology teacher, retired out of Kenmore. My mom finished her career at Garfield. As a small boy, I remember working the games at Kenmore, selling programs. My mother was up in the press box running the clock, and my dad was managing the game. So I grew up a Kenmore Cardinal. Akron Public Schools has always had a dear place in my heart. It means a tremendous deal to me that I am going to finish my career, make sure athletics are strong here, build up our student athletes, and I use that word, student and athlete together, because that is an important piece as well. And I just look forward to serving the board, this community, and our student athletes in the best possible way that I can. I cannot tell you how grateful I am for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with everybody in this group. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does the board have any questions about the division, recommendations, resolutions, and motions for Section 22? If there are no questions, I wish to recommend the approval of the division recommendations, resolutions, and motions in Section 22.
Okay, seeing and hearing none. Oh, Vice President Alexander, my apology. Yeah, is there a motion?
So move.
Okay. It's been a motion by Vice President Alexander. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Member Autry. Any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none. Mr. Bowers, roll call, please.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Ms. Hall?
Yes.
Reverend Harrison?
Yes.
Dr. Jackson?
Yes.
Dr. Molinar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. Next is the approval of the division recommendations, resolutions, and motions. Superintendent Altman. Oh, wait.
Business affairs.
Business affairs recommendation, I'm sorry. Business affairs recommendation.
Does the board have any questions for Section 23, business affairs recommendations? If there are no questions, I wish to recommend the approval of business affairs recommendations presented in Category 23.
Thank you. Is there a motion to approve the business affairs recommendations in Category 23?
I move to approve the business affairs recommendations.
Thank you, Member Autry. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved by Member Autry, seconded by Vice President Alexander. Are there any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Bowers, roll call, please.
Ms. Hall,
Yes.
Reverend Harrison,
Yes.
Dr. Jackson,
Yes.
Dr. Molinar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Next, we'll have our committee reports, beginning with legal contracts and board policy. Vice President Alexander.
Thank you, Madam President. The Legal Contracts and Board Policy Committee met on December 1st with a full agenda. There are about 6 items that we had, and we discussed, or policy we discussed and talked about at that meeting. A number of those were policies that need to be updated by Neola, and they are wanting to get those things done as required so that we can be in line. We also have for this evening policies that we're reading. They're the second reading, but we're going to ask that they be waived the second reading and move to be the third reading so we can get these taken care of for the district. And those policies are policy 4162, drugs and alcohol testing of CDL license holders who perform safety sensitive functions. Policy 4162.01, drugs and alcohol testing of employees without CDL license who transport students in alternative vehicles. Policy 8600, transportation. Policy 8600.04, business and alternative vehicle driver certification. Policy 8640, transportation for non-routine trips. And policy 8650, transportation by alternate vehicles. And I would make a motion that we waive the second reading and take this as a third and final reading so we can pass these items. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Alexander. Are there any questions? It was brought by the committee, so it does not, the motion was brought by the committee, it does not need a second. Member Harrison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, we had some discussion. We had discussions on these transportation policies, policy 8600, 8600.4, 8640, and 8650. There are still some questions, and I want to say that language matters. And there were some questions that I had during the committee meetings that have not been resolved. And I would ask that we not waive the third and final reading on these policies, but that these policies would go back to committee. And that's policy 8600, 8600.4, 8640, and 8650. Thank you.
All right, thank you. The board has heard the concern of Member Harrison. Mr. Alexander, the committee chair, has made the recommendation that the third and final reading be waived. And so at this point, it was brought forward by the committee chair. It can come to a vote, and you can either vote it up or down based off of the rationale also given by Member Harrison that it come back to committee. So if you are in agreement with that, then you should vote not to the affirmative. Member Alexander.
I just want to make note, too, that any policy that is passed or put on the floor to be passed for Akron Public Schools can always go back to any committee at any time for any adjustments if they need to. And of course, the Neola needs to to make sure, we need to make sure we're in compliance with Neola, so this is why they talked about getting these policies taken care of right now. But if there's more things that want to be more discussion that the committee needs, if you want to bring them back to change wording or wordsmith, whatever, that can be going back to the committee at that time. But at this point in time, I think we need to move to get these policies taken care of, so we are taken care of under Neola. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Alexander. Mr. Harrison.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and I appreciate the words of the chair. And to take a policy back, to change the language of a policy, it still requires the 3 readings. And this policy was brought to the committee last Monday. The law was, House Bill 96 was voted on July 1st, and it went into law October 1st. We received the policy last Monday, and there were some questions that we could have stayed. We could have stayed in the committee to find a reasonable solution. So I don't see the problem with sending this back to committee for 3 readings, as is in our policy, 3 readings. And so to enact the policy, then to come back next meeting and say we want to change the policy, and then it takes 3 more readings, I think we should follow the purpose of the 3 readings. The purpose of the 3 readings is to get the language right. And so, again, we're in this situation where they bring a policy the week before, and the board had nothing to do with the recommendations in the policy. We had no say until they brought it to us. Do we act on things that come in at the last minute, or do we get it right? And I would just ask that we send this policy back to committee, these policies back to committee to get it right. And so we don't have to, we have enough policies to update. And we don't need to continue to bring back something that we just voted on. This policy is not right. And my question had to do with charging students. That's what my question is. Are we going to charge students? And I'm looking at the least of these students. So I would just ask that we would follow our policies on this and not suspend this final reading and take the benefit of having 3 readings.
Thank you, Member Harrison. Member Molinar.
Thank you, President Jackson. And I just want to provide a point of clarification, especially because we have our new board members here who might not be very familiar with Neola. And so from the policy adoption process, occasionally, but very rarely, is there a state law that we must have a policy on file. Frequently, laws occur, and we have to follow the law. Whether or not we have a policy on file, we have to follow the law. Neola is a regulatory agency that provides policy recommendations. They can help us out, but they have no enforcement authority. So there is absolutely no way that a district can be punished for not following a Neola policy. We can be punished for not following state law. We cannot be punished for not following Neola, which is why we have the flexibility to have multiple readings and to incorporate our own language.
Yes, I'm going to address 2 things. One, the charging was not charging the students themselves. It was charging an entity where our kids may want to go for, or we may want our kids to go for some type of enrichment. And so the charging was not of the students. First of all. Second of all, yes, Neola is an organization that helps develop and guide you with your policies, but you also want to have their support when it comes down to it, because if you don't have their support, then they won't, if you don't have your policies intact the way that they think you should, and according to federal law, then what they would do is they will not support you. So if you need some help from them, they would not support you at that time. So I would suggest that we just vote and vote your heart, and however you want to vote, and whatever the outcome is will be. Thank you, Madam President.
Thank you, Vice President Alexander. All right, Mr. Bowers, roll call, please. Oh, I thought we made that motion as we were at the discussion. The chair already made the motion.
Okay.
And so we were at the point of discussion because it was brought from the committee.
Do we second it?
We don't need to second it because it was brought from a committee.
Okay. Ms. Hall?
No.
Reverend Harrison?
No.
Dr. Jackson?
I'm trying to look over the clarity. No, that's all right. I can go through. Yes.
Dr. Molinar?
No.
Mrs. Sykes?
No.
Mr. Alexander?
Yes.
Ms. Autry?
Yes.
Motion fails 3-4.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Next, we will have Finance and Capital Management.
No finance report.
Okay. Did you want to announce next meeting? No.
No, Madam President.
All right. No finance or meeting announcement. Instructional policy, student achievement.
No report.
Is there a meeting scheduled? Oh, no,
I don't know.
The reorganization.
I do want to encourage whomever might be sitting on that committee to keep their eyes on that fourth E. I know that's something and it's been a theme in our committee. And also, as we've talked about equity and programming, et cetera, I know there's still conversations around the Teacher Academy at Bookto, so I hope those conversations get picked back up and continued upon. And thank you. It's been my pleasure to serve as chair of this committee.
Thank you. Student success and celebration.
Nothing to report, but our meeting will be held on February 2nd, 2026 at 5:30. Instructional policy, since I'm the coach, well, no, I'm the third person on that, I think. That meeting will be held on February 2nd at 4:30. And one thing I would just like to ask, it's not being held then? So it's just student success?
Yeah. Well, because once we do the pro temp, the reorganization of the meeting,
So we're not
divided,
doing it
yeah.
now? Okay, I just had it on my calendar for that date. But
Usually they have like been standing unless the new chair decides to change it that way, the anticipation of the date. So you're not completely in error with that because it gives people expectation of when the meetings are unless the incoming chair wants to make some adjustments. So you weren't really wrong, but the
But I
new
was
chair
wrong. I wasn't wrong, but I was wrong. But
No,
it's okay.
you wasn't. It's just because the new chair may say it's fine and roll with it. Then the community knows it's constant, right?
I understand.
It only changes if the chair decides that doesn't work for them. But if not, we rolling in, no date is going to be valid. So,
Got it.
But go ahead.
Okay.
So it's tentative.
Okay. I did want to mention for one thing, maybe going forward, could we put the dates of the meetings in the agenda versus us trying to report out and then remember, when the next date is going to be? So if that can just be added in, that way viewers and people with the agenda will be able to see visually the dates of the next committee meetings versus trying to remember what they heard here at our meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Hall. All right, currently there is no unfinished business that I'm aware of. And we do have new business, however, which is we need to select a president pro temp to preside over the January 12th meeting, 2026, which is the organizational meeting. Are there any nominations, or does any board member wish to express their interest to be considered to serve in the role on January 12th, 2026 as the pro temp? Member Harrison.
Madam Chair, I nominate Member Summer Hall to fill that position as pro temp.
Thank you, Member Harrison. Okay, then there is a nomination of Member Hall. Are there any other nominations? All right. Seeing and hearing none, is there a motion to select a President Pro Temp Member Hall to preside over the January 12, 2026 board meeting.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I make a motion to nominate Member Summerhall as President Pro Tem.
Thank you, Member Harrison. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Member Harrison and seconded by Vice President Alexander. Oh, Sykes seconded? Oh, okay, it's been moved by Member Harrison, seconded by Sykes. Any discussion? All right, seeing and hearing none, roll call, please, Mr. Bowers.
Reverend Harrison,
Yes.
Dr. Jackson,
Yes.
Dr. Molnar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Ms. Hall.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers, excuse me. Okay, there is a need for us to recess into executive session pursuant Ohio Revised Code 121.22G1 to consider the investigation of charges or complaints against a public employee. G3, to conference with an attorney for the public body concerning disputes involving the public body that are the subject of pending or imminent court action. And G4, preparing for conducting or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment. Is there a motion to go into executive session?
So moved.
It's been moved by Vice President Alexander. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Member Hall. Any discussion? Okay, seeing and hearing none, roll call, Mr. Bowers, please.
Dr. Jackson,
Yes.
Dr. Molnar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Ms. Hall,
Yes.
Reverend Harrison.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. We stand in recess for executive session at 7:39 p.m. Hello and welcome back. We stand back in session at 8:56 p.m. from executive session, and there is some actions that need to be taken. Is there a motion to approve the tentative agreement between the Akron Board of Education and the Ohio Association of Public School Employees, AFSCME, AFL-CIO, Local 778, foreman employees?
So moved.
It's been moved by Vice President Alexander. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Member Autry. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Bowers, roll call, please.
Dr. Molinar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Ms. Hall,
Yes.
Reverend Harrison,
Yes.
Dr. Jackson.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. Next, is there a motion to approve the memorandum of understanding between the Akron Board of Education and the Akron Education Association?
So moved.
It's been moved by Vice President Alexander. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Member Autry. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none, Mr. Bowers, roll call, please.
Mrs. Sykes,
Yes.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Ms. Hall,
Yes.
Reverend Harrison,
Yes.
Dr. Jackson,
Yes.
Dr. Molinar.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you, Mr. Bowers. I believe the next organizational meeting of the Board of Education will be January 12th of 2026 will be the next official board meeting. Is there, at 5:30 p.m. here in this room, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
It's been moved by Member Hall. Is there a second?
Second.
It's been seconded by Vice President Alexander. Any discussion? Seeing and hearing none. Mr. Bowers, roll call, please.
Mr. Alexander,
Yes.
Ms. Autry,
Yes.
Ms. Hall,
Yes.
Reverend Harrison,
Yes.
Dr. Jackson,
Yes.
Dr. Molinar,
Yes.
Mrs. Sykes.
Yes.
Motion carries 7-0.
Thank you. We stand adjourned at 8:58 p.m. God bless you and happy holidays to you all.